Hello and welcome to Stitches Please. I hope you will join me for lots of knitting today. And this channel is mainly about knitting now. I've been gone for a little bit and I lost my cross-stitching bug, so if you're here for that, I'm sorry. I won't have anything to show. I don't even know the last time I recorded. I didn't look, but I basically stitched for maybe a week after that and then completely stopped. And just been wanting to knit all the things. All I want to do is knit. My knitting mojo is huge and it's definitely strong. So if you're returning, I greatly appreciate you coming back and sticking around, and I hope you stick around for the knitting. I have lots of good things to show, and if you're new, you're very welcome here. So I think I already said my name is Courtney and I live in a suburb of Phoenix, Arizona. It's finally cooling down here, so maybe that's why I just want to knit all the things. Yeah, our high is still in the mid 80s, which in the sun can feel hotter. So not really knit weather yet, but there's 70s in the forecast. So that means I can at least wear my knits at work. I'm really excited for it. So, like I said, I have lots of knitting to show. I have some notes, so I hopefully don't forget anything. All right, so let's jump into finishes. I've never shown before. I started and finished this in 2 weeks, and that's the Talisker overalls by Rainer and Baah, and they turned out so cute. They have a rolled little cuff, so as he grows I could unroll them, and I did order buttons, they just haven't came here yet. But then it has a little kangaroo pouch, and I made the size 6 to 12 months. And you actually sew on 2 buttons on each side, so you can even adjust the height of the straps. But they knit it bottom up and knit it up super quick. I love this yarn. So it's heathered, and the yarn is just some Berocco vintage decay in the Calico color, and it's 52% acrylic, 40% wool, and 8% nylon. And even with the acrylic content, it's really soft. And I think I've used Berocco vintage for multiple baby knits and children knits, and I've made Oliver's baby blanket out of it. But like, it's just blocked up so nice, like it's nice and drapey, and I think they're really, really soft. So I love them. Here they are. It's a great pattern for intermediate beginner. So not beginner, but little bit advanced, the beginner. The pattern, I want to say it's Dutch. So there's a couple spots where it's not completely written out how to do things, but it's easy to figure it out if you've knitted a couple things before. So like joining in the round was a little, not tricky, I had to read it multiple times, but I thought the rest of it was pretty easy to understand. But yep, here they are. And then I finished my lemon spritz. That's the back. Yay! Oh, I love it so much. It's Lemon Spritz by Greene. Here are the ties. I was worried that this yarn was not going to block out flat, but it did. So this is Juniper Moon Zoo. I believe it's Zooey. It's Zooey but with 2 O's. So Zooey. And I had never used it before. I don't have a tag handy for me. I don't know what I did with all the tags. But it is a cotton linen blend. And here's what I have left. I actually had to run to my yarn store. I only had 3 balls and I needed just a little bit more of my 4th one. I did make a modification. I believe it's set to only knit an inch from the underarm and then start the lace. I did 2 inches. So mine is a little bit longer and I just noticed this is kind of blocked out weird, but you won't be able to tell when I wear it. It just has that weird little bump on that side. At the time that I blocked this, I thought I knew exactly where my knit blockers. I have the, they're not knit picks, Knitter Pride, and they're the white handle, and then there's a bunch of pins, knit blocking pins. And I thought I knew exactly where they were, so I had the soaking, and then I, dried it in a towel, and I brought it over to my blocking mats and went to grab my pins. No idea where they were. I took like the whole house apart, couldn't find them. I literally found them like 5 minutes before this video. But it made blocking this a little more interesting. So I think that's why it has this bump. I just kind of laid it flat, but I think the lace really opened up and the leaves did dry flat, which I was concerned about since they were really rolling. So as you can see, they look nice. And it feels really soft. It definitely softened up with a wash. And yeah, the yarn is a little thick and thin at places, and it's not the smoothest, but it gives it some texture. And yeah, this is finished. And I think it makes a great summer yarn for warm climates like Arizona, Florida, any summer knits. Here it's too hot to even wear this in the summer. So this is more a spring, fall garment. Like I will wear this in the fall, even though it's not a fall color and everything, but that's when I get the most use out of my knits, is in the fall and in the winter. But yes, and I learned a new technique on the sleeves. You knit perpendicular and then you have this little slit. So Greene in her pattern has clickable links to different tutorials, and this was one of them, and it was very helpful. And then she also had one for the leaves, and I also thought that was very helpful. I ended up watching that one and the one for the sleeve, and the pattern was very well written. I could have figured it out without the tutorial, but since there was one, I was like, oh, why not? I'm gonna watch it. And I'm glad I did, but I think the pattern is also very well written that you don't necessarily need the tutorial. And the lace was very intuitive, since you can see it's a diamond pattern, so it was really easy to tell when you were off. But also, I just want to say this yarn, for being a linen cotton blend, I think it looks really neat in the ribbing. I feel like that yarn has potential to look sloppy in ribbing, but I thought it looked good. Good stitch definition. Like, I like how the garter looks. So yes, garter, sleeves, and I'm sorry if you can hear all over. And stockinette body, which I thought was an interesting touch, and then just a little rolled hem. Sorry if I'm flailing this around. I am a little rusty. But that's enough about lemon spritz. Let's go into what I've been knitting. I only knitted on 2 other projects. So I worked on my Shake It Up. I kind of touched everything, but not enough to show. So I'm just showing the ones that have progress. But here's my Shake It Up by Johanna. I'm tangled. Boy. Okay. It is so big. This pattern has a variety of things happening. So you have a garter section down here, then you move into a lace section. And then you have another garter, and it's like garter stripes. And then brioche. 1 color brioche going into 2 color brioche. That's why I casted this on. I was craving brioche at the time. And then stripes, more lace, more stripes, garter stripes, and then more brioche. And that's where I'm at. I had to rip back quite a bit. So this marker is actually the last time you guys saw it, but I did about that much and then had to rip all the way back and then re-knit it because I had a mistake in my center decrease. I'm almost done with the brioche section, and then I have 2 more sections. I did the math yesterday. I believe I have 50 something rows. I'm hoping to have this done by next weekend. I didn't have any knitting time today, which weekends is where I get more my knitting time in. But this is kind of my evening knit right now. I have a daytime knit and an evening knit. I'll explain that in a minute. But this is my evening knit, so I'm hoping to get it done by the weekend. Oh my goodness. So that's that. And the yarns, unfortunately 2 of them are discontinued. So this color and this color are discontinued. They were local to me. I'm a dyer from Tucson, Arizona, but she no longer dyes yarn, which is a shame. I really liked her yarn. And she's the second local to me dyer that stopped dyeing, so it's sad. And then this pinky color is Baah yarn, which my husband got me when he was in California a little while ago, a few years ago. It was like the first time he went to California. And that is actually, I believe, a local dyer to La Jolla. And the color is called something peanut. The jelly to my peanut butter. You got me a jelly? Something like that. I'm sorry. If you really want to know this color, let me know and I will let you know. And it's really nice yarn. It's your typical superwash merino nylon blend. So the base that most indie dyers use. But I love the colors. I just happen to have these 3 in my stash, and I'm really happy to have them out of my stash. I am playing a little bit of Yarn Chicken. I have this brioche section. I have like 4 more rows left, so 2 with this color, and then there's a striped section, I think 20 colors, which is also with this. every other row. So about 10 rows with this. Can I squeeze? And I'm decreasing, but I'm also increasing, I think. Eee. Wish me luck. And then I have this much left of, this is a fuzzy cactus, one that no longer dies. I know this is called I Am Groot, and it's also by Fuzzy Cactus. But yes, this shawl is a lot of fun. You don't get bored because you're constantly switching things up, which is great for me. And I love shawl knitting. It's one of my favorite things to knit. It's definitely my comfort food, is a good shawl. That's in my Fat Squirrel bag that was gifted to me a while back. During one of those that's happening right now, Get Your Yarn Wish Granted on Instagram, I had asked for, it was my very first time participating, and I asked for a project bag because at that time I didn't have hardly any, and I was gifted this bag, and then by the Suburban Stitcher. I don't know if she even still makes bags. I know she's a yarn dyer, but also this bag, so I got two. If you ever have participated in the Get Your Yarn Wish Granted, people go above and beyond. Like, I've had 2, maybe 3 wishes granted over the years, and like over a 10-year span. And last year was a big one. I asked for some spin cycle, and I was gifted a lot of spin cycle, like very generous. So I probably will participate gifting, like granting yarn wishes, but I can't think of any yarn wish I would like to get granted. So I don't know. But in this bag is a new cast on. Since I finished my lemon spritz, I had to cast on a new summer top. Let's forget that I have a summer top on the needles. I had to start a new one. That's the rules. Hello. So I started Deschain, I think that's how you pronounce it, by Lila Raven. I believe that's how that's pronounced, Lila Raven, and I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. I love everything about this project. So I bought this yarn in California, the same store that my husband bought me the other one, but that time I went. So it is Sandnes Garn Leila, and that is Swedish, correct? Norwegian. And it is 53% cotton, 33% viscose, and 14% linen. And what is the right side to this? We'll talk about the yarn here in a second. It is a very loose gauge. It is a worsted weight. The pattern calls for an Aran weight, but it's worsted. And so it's very see-through, which it's supposed to be. And then it has this lace. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to not drop my stitches. I need to get needle stoppers for this yarn is very slippery and wants to jump off my needles. But there's the lace pattern. You can see it's kind of waving already at the bottom. That's what it's supposed to do. Very fun. It is so fun. This is 2 days of knitting, y'all. I don't know what I went to say. I went to say y'all and you guys at the same time. 2 days. It flies off the needles. You knit it on 10.5 huge needles. And it's a lot of fun. Just to see it grow, like it grows in front of your eyes. And I can't wait to wear this over dresses. So fun. So let's talk about the yarn. All right, like I said, Sandnes Garn Leila. I had never seen it in the stores, and I didn't want to buy it online without feeling it. I am not familiar with plant fiber yarn. You tell me a yarn is superwash merino nylon, like the one I'm using for my Shake It Up, and I know what that's going to feel like. I can order that online. I can see the color. I know the feel. I'm good. Any other wool, type yarns, I can imagine what it's gonna feel like. I have an idea, like I can tell not obviously not 100%. Sometimes you think something is gonna be rustic and it may be softer, and something you think is more soft can be more rustic. But I kind of know what the yarn is gonna behave like, or what it's gonna feel like. With yarn, with plant fibers, I don't know what it's gonna feel like. Some yarns, I'm skeptical, is it gonna feel like I'm wearing a washcloth? Especially 100% cottons. The linen, I'm like, is it gonna stretch and hang by my knees at the end of the day? I just don't know. And there's a lot of new blends coming out. There's wool cotton blends, there's alpaca cotton blends, which my mind can't even wrap itself around that, because alpaca is the warmest, one of the warmest wool blends, or not wool, it's like its own category, animal fiber. It's one of the warmest, and then cotton is one of the cooler fibers. So putting them together, I don't know, my brain can't handle it. But there's so many new blends coming out that I'm like, I don't know what they feel like or what they're gonna do. So I either rely on reviews or seeing it in a store. And I hadn't seen any Sandnes Garn anywhere in a store, and at that point when I bought it, I've heard about it, but I didn't know a lot about it. Deschain did a series a few years ago about making projects more budget friendly, and the Deschain was on there, and she had knitted with this exact yarn, Sandnes Garn, and even in the same color, which I think is ash. There's just a number here, but I think if you look it up online, it's ash. It's 6080. So when I went to this yarn store and they had it and I could feel it, I was like, oh yeah, this feels good, I'll buy it. So now that I've knitted with it, I love it and I'm obsessed. I'm getting so excited. I thought that the Juniper Moon Zooey was nice yarn, and then I knitted with this and I love it so much. It is soft, it is very even, and it's budget friendly. Like, tick all the boxes. I want to only knit with Sandnes now. I want to try their, I think they have a wool cotton blend, if I'm not mistaken. They also have a fingering version of Lina. I think it's called Teak Lina or something like that, Tiki. And they have just a superwash merino, or I don't even know if it's superwash, it may just be merino. But yes, I'm converted. I love it. I have 6 balls, and 1 ball in California cost me $8 for 50 grams. Whereas the Juniper Moon is $22 for 100 grams. So $16 for 100 grams. And it's really nice. I haven't blocked it, haven't worn it, so I can't speak for those things, but knitting with it and the drape it's giving me, and I love it. I'm definitely converted. So this is my daytime knitting because it's black yarn. And the way my house is set up right now, we keep the door to my bedroom cracked, and that's where the baby's sleeping right now. And so we have to dim the lights. Right now I'm in my dining room, that light is completely shut off, and then my kitchen light is dimmed. I apologize for my AC kicking on. It did cool down, but the AC still needed. And so I just have my living room lamp on, and that is across from where I sit. I could use my cross stitch light, but I just knit on something else. So this is my daytime knitting, and then the Shake It Up is my nighttime knitting. I'm getting there. So anyway, I love it. I am knitting this on Knit Picks needles. These are old Knit Picks needles. These are from 15 years ago, and they're amazing. My mom, the reason I'm saying this, my mom had ordered some of Amazon. They said they were from the Knit Pick store. I'm not sure if they were, but they are going in the garbage. I, during my lemon spritz, literally knitted the lacquer, the smoothness off of them, and they were scraping. Like, you could feel a drag. I had to switch to different needles halfway through my lemon spritz. Oh, not halfway. I was almost done with it, but I should have done it halfway. I stopped knitting on lemon spritz for a while because of the needles. And I finally was like, just switch needles. But Knit Picks on those. The only needle I had a 10.5 in. My preferred needles now are Chiagu. Used to be Haya Sharps. But I got converted because of my mom. So those are all my knitting projects, but I do have some dream knitting I would like to share. Once I finish Shake It Up, I'm going to need a new shawl. Let's not talk about Sommernacht, that's still on my needles, and I need to finish that. Let's talk about the next shawl that needs to jump on my needles, okay? It's going to be Birds of a Feather by Andrea Mowry. I've had the shawl in my queue since it first came out, who knows when. And I had this yarn in my stash for it when I went to Fiber Space in Alexandria, Virginia. I came with Lily, right? No, we did not. We came just with Cheyenne. In 2019? 2018? It's time I knit this shawl. So I'm going to be using Neighborhood Fiber Co. Rustic Fingering, which is 100% superwash. It's a single ply in the color Fog Point. Look at them purples. Oh my god, it is so pretty. Speckles. There's sections with speckles, and this purple is like my favorite type of purple. Can't wait to knit with this. And then I have the mohair, 60% kid mohair, 40% silk. It's the loft based in the same color. I have 2 skeins of each, but oh my goodness. The reason I haven't casted this on, it's so pretty, I don't want to use it. It is like one of those yarns. You know, we all kind of have them. They typically are souvenir yarns, I feel like. And they're just so pretty. You want to pet them and look at them and not wind them. And also, I've never wound mohair before. Any tips? Kind of scared. I've always bought my mohair already, like in one of those flat little things. Flat cakes, I don't know. I've only really used Knit Picks mohair, so I'm a little scared to have to wind this. Like, what if this becomes a tangled disaster? So, any tips, please leave them in the comments below, because that's oh, so pretty. And then I'm also planning, I don't have yarn for that yet, and I'm on the hunt for yarn, so please help me. I want to knit the classic RIPT hat by Pearl Soho for little Oliver. I found this Pinterest inspiration picture, I'll put the picture here, of just the cutest little outfit that I want to get for him. And I found a flannel jacket, I found black romper onesie type thing, and then there is this car hat. I think that's what's, no, Carhartt, a car hat, Carhartt hat, and it's an acrylic hat that is very popular. Everyone and their mom has one of those hats, but I'm a knitter. I can't make myself buy even though it's only $10. Let's be honest, I'm gonna spend more on yarn and my time. I just can't make myself buy the hat. I rather knit it, but I want it in a really similar color. So it's this cognac, is that a whiskey color? I don't know. It's like spiced mustard cognac. I am horrible in colors. When it gets into more detail besides green and blue and yellow, like into the more in-depth colors, I'm not good. So I put a picture so you saw the color. Can you think of a yarn that is in that color? It doesn't need to be the fanciest of yarn. It doesn't necessarily need to be indie dyed yarn since it's just a baby hat. But if you have any ideas, even big box store, if you tell me Line Brand makes a yarn like that, I'd be okay with it. I just haven't gone to the yarn big box yarn stores, and my yarn store doesn't have anything in that. And I believe it needs to be DK, I think is what the pattern calls for. But anyway, I would appreciate it if somebody has an idea for a yarn color like that. And I think that's pretty much it. So the weather, like I said, has started to cool down here, and we went for a little walk at the riparian, which is a bird reserve, just really close to where I live. And we went for a walk there, and I took some pictures, and my new introduction video has a couple images and videos from there. And I did get to sit down for a little bit and do some knitting, so I really enjoyed the cooler temperatures this morning. And I really hope that you saw something that you liked, and if you did, if you could please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. That really helps my channel to grow and have other people find it and keep me motivated to make more of these videos. And I hope to see you guys again in a week or two. Bye.